Videocast number 72, Troop Budgeting. Budgeting for the troop helps a unit keep track of how they spend and where they spend any money they have. Without a proper budget, or at least an idea of a budget, you run the risk of having a shortfall in your bank account, which can incur fees that you can't afford. While the specifics of a troop's budget has a lot of different factors depending on how your particular troop decides what is paid for by the troop and what is paid for by the individual, a budget helps you make the decision on allocating funds appropriately. In our troop, scouts and adults pay for any food on trips. As mentioned in previous videocasts, scouts and adults pay $10 per person to cover this cost. For other trip expenses, the troop will pay it out of its own funds. The exception is larger trips that might include hotels, buses, admission fees, etc. These are passed on to the individual. But it doesn't end there, as with a healthy troop account, the committee can decide to defray some of these costs as well. Our troop has yearly dues which cover the general expenses of the program, which includes insurance, the national fee, boys' life, and helps defer the cost of site fees like cabins. As I said, we only ask the boys for food money, and if the trip is off of Long Island, part of gas and tolls for the drivers. The rest of the site fees are paid from fundraising. We fundraise yearly through popcorn. It's actually our only scheduled fundraiser. Through this, however, we are able to afford to pay all the cabin and tent site fees throughout the year. We cover the cost of extras like our holiday parties and can afford to offer prepaid discounts through giveaways like space blankets or sweatshirts if you pay it once at the start of the year. So our budget includes the site fees, the food for trips are a wash, and any additional fee for extra propane or supplies aligned to trips. So the next year when we do an annual budget, you can roll up the trip budgets to get a great picture of the true cost of the yearly program. This also allows you to pivot easily. It gives you a goal for fundraising, and if you manage it right, you can have enough in your troop account to cover your float, which is the difference between the amount of money you owe and the amount of money you receive to cover expenses. As you revisit this yearly, you can decide to give back to the troop through new equipment, subsidized trips, or a reduction in dues. But you can only do this if you understand the money coming in and the money going out. But this is what works for us. Take what you like, leave the rest. As we say in Woodbadge, feedback is a gift. Leave yours below in the comments with all the hope we can learn together. I'm Scoutmaster Dave, and this was a bit on troop budgeting.